Ukraine says Russian forces have struck targets on the Black Sea coast near Odesa and Mykolaiv. The targets include port infrastructure and houses in coastal towns. The latest development comes after attacks on the port of Odesa on Saturday, calling into question a breakthrough deal to resume exports of grain from Ukraine. For more, we speak with Sam Mednik, who is in Lviv. New airstrikes, Sam, near Ukraine's largest port. How are they affecting those grain shipments?
Right. For the second time in 4 days, Russia has struck Ukraine's Black Sea regions. On Tuesday, it hit the region of Odesa, as well as the nearby town of Mykolaiv, and the military has said that it struck private infrastructure as well as port infrastructure. Now, this comes after Russia claimed responsibility for a strike on the port of Odesa on Saturday, where Russia says it was exclusively hitting military objects, including a warship, as well as a warehouse stockpiling missiles. In a post on Instagram today, President Zelensky showed a video of the damage in the city, in the Odesa region that was hit. He said this was purely civilians, there was no military there, and he's calling for Russia to be held accountable. According to the president's office, at least 3 people have been killed and 8 injured within the last 24 hours. Now, despite these strikes, this grain deal is still moving ahead. Ukrainian authorities say that exports could begin as early as this week. I spoke to the head of the World Food Program in Ukraine today. He said that he's optimistic about this deal, but that the exports depend on inland infrastructure, supply lines, as well as the availability of fuel, all things which have been damaged during this war.
And Sam, we're also hearing that Russia is preparing to hold referendums in occupied areas as soon as September. What is their goal there?
According to the Washington-based think tank, the Institute for the Study of War, Russia is laying the groundwork and setting the conditions to hold referendum to annex areas occupied by them. This is something that Russia has done before. They did this in 2014, where they held a referendum in Crimea. Now, all of this comes while Ukraine is continuing to launch its counteroffensive in the southern region of Kherson. The think tank said that at least 3 bridges occupied by Russia into Kherson have been hit and damaged this week. Russia needs these bridges to get personnel and supplies in and out of Kherson. However, this announcement, this push for this annexation of areas occupied by Russia, analysts say that it means it's closing the window for this counteroffensive to happen. People living in these areas say that things are already starting to change. Residents say that Russians are forcing them to use the Russian passport as well as the ruble. I spoke to one woman who didn't want to be named for security reasons. Her family is in Kherson. She said she's unable to speak to them because communication has been cut off. But she said that any referendum is purely, in her words, theatrics by Russia, and that if there is a vote, it will not be free or fair.
Thank you, Sam, for those reports there. That was AP journalist Sam Mednik reporting live from Lviv.